Okay, the camera was working. I got worried there for a second and wondered if I turned it on or not. Well, hello everyone. This is not going to be a terribly long show, and I am trying to make, except for the really inside baseball stuff, long, but who knows? This one might be. Let's do the announcement type things first. So I'm going to take the comments down just for a quick second to do my last promo for Anarchon, because that's where I'm leaving. And damn, I should have checked in. I better check in on Southwest the minute I get off this call. I'm probably going to be like in boarding group C or something. I should probably like even do that right now. Oh crap. Well, anyway, I am leaving for Anarchon in the morning, and I will be back on Sunday, but probably too tired to do a show. But maybe do a history show on Sunday. So right after this show, I need to go pack, and I know what I'm going to talk about, but I need to write my notes. I haven't written my notes. And yes, Honey Badger, I can't cuss yet. It hasn't been long enough in a show. But Honey Badger definitely does not give a thing that I'm not allowed to say in the first few minutes of the show. So yes, I am leaving soon. I am the headline speaker at Anarchon, and I am super, super excited for that. You can go to anarchon.com if you're in the Virginia area or can get to the Virginia area. It's a weekend camping trip. So would love to see you there. I've never been, so I have no idea what to expect. I would ask you to please, a lot of people have thought they've been subscribed to the show. I don't think YouTube's doing that dirty thing where they like unsubscribe people, but maybe they have. Check. Make sure you're still subscribed. Subscribe to me over, or follow, I think it's called, over on Rumble as well. But we passed the 5,000 subscriber mark, which I never really thought I would do with such a niche channel. So that is pretty awesome. And, you know, give the video a like if you are so inclined. And go check out my shorts, because right now, and I don't mean like the shorts I'm wearing, because I almost said something that would have required a "that's what she said," because what I was going to say is you need to check out my shorts, because that's where all the action is. Bada bing. But I meant my YouTube shorts. You can follow me on Twitter at Karen Ann Harlos. Been taking a little bit of a break, but not really. I can't leave. And last but not least, and this is super important to me, if you can become a patron at patreon.com/Pink Flame of Liberty, I would really appreciate it. Haven't really been pushing this, and subscriptions are down, and I really do need to get them up. So I'm hoping by the end of August to get back up to 50. And I see, let me put the comment screen back up. Whether or not we get the cult, oh, whoops, wrong thing. I meant to, here we go, here. No, why am I such an idiot today? This is what I'm trying to do. I want to get the comments back up. You got to talk to Mike Seaback about the cult of R&R. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't want to have to find another co-host. I think I'm starting to threaten you, Mike. We need to get back on doing that. But there is another parliamentary thing coming that is going to be solo, because I am starting kind of like my side hustle of parliamentary work. So it's not going to be on YouTube, or maybe I'll upload it as shorts on YouTube, but it's mostly going to be on TikTok, where I'm going to be doing short little parliamentary tips under the Pink Parliamentarian, which is also going to be my parliamentary business website. So you will have some parliamentary stuff coming up soon, but I do want to do the cult of R1R, because my professional stuff obviously will not be filthy the way the cult of R1R will be. Is that it? Is that it for the beginning promos of this show? I thought there was one more thing I had to say, but maybe not. Why did I think there was one more thing? I guess not. We're going to get right into it then. I've got a clip from Timcast that somebody sent me, and I super appreciate that. I do not have time to watch all of these shows. If the LP And no, I'm not hustling conventions. I do conventions for free. They get me out there and pay my food and board. I donate parliamentary services. But I am going to be doing paid work on things that aren't LP conventions. I actually do have a paid gig right now. Not going to disclose the client. I don't have any kind of permission to do so. I can't remember what else, but I guess we're just going to get started. So if you see a clip, it doesn't even necessarily have to be about the Libertarian Party, but it could be like a cool, you're like, damn, I want to hear her comment on this clip. I can't guarantee I'll do it, but email me at pinkflameofliberty@gmail.com. Give me the timestamp, because the whole purpose of you sending me things is that I don't have time to listen to the whole show myself. So, particularly with these multi-hour-long Timcast shows, if you send me a time clip and it's something I think I want to respond to, I'll definitely do it on the show. So I really appreciate that I got sent this clip. Now, normally when I'm doing a response, it's to light somebody up. Like, I like doing responses where I like tear 'em orifices. I like lighting people up. I like Timcast. Timcast is a friend of the Libertarian Party. He says a lot of things I don't agree with, but he's had Angela on a lot of times. He is very complimentary of us. I am not here to light Tim up. But there was something that he said on his show that is ignorant. And when I say ignorant, I don't mean that as an insult. It's such a shame that that word has become an insult, because it just means lacking knowledge. It doesn't mean stupid. See, ignorance is really curable. Stupidity isn't. So when somebody's stupid, I'll say they're stupid. When I'm saying they're ignorant, I'm just saying they don't know something. I'm ignorant on a million things. So we're going to deal with a segment of Timcast. I didn't break it into pieces, so I'm going to start and stop it. I just got to remember to keep unmuting my mic. I got my little unmute button right here, and we're going to comment at multiple parts of the way. Some of it is just differences of opinion, and some of it is ignorance. So let's get at her. Like, as Letterkenny would say, pitter patter. Let's get at her. So I do need to take off the comments for this, but they still are appearing on my side screen where I'll be able to see them. But let's go to this Timcast episode. Let's see if it plays properly.
Like I said, there's a lot RFK believes in that I think is really bad, but when you look at how awful the Democratic Party is right now, he would absolutely be an improvement.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, even if RFK on a scale of negative to 100 to positive 100 is a negative 10, negative 10's a huge improvement.
No, I agree with you.
Democrat Party.
I totally agree with you.
Reluctantly.
Okay, I am going to stop there. I actually agree with that. RFK has he's got some wackadoodle. He's got some wackadoodle going on in there, but for a Democrat, certainly don't want him on the LP ticket. But as a Democrat, there's a lot to like about him. There's also a lot not to like. But remember, we're talking about a Democrat. There's a lot not to like about all duopoly candidates. So, okay. I like that these alternative media shows are talking about alternative candidates, because the major news is only paying attention to these people to advance an agenda. I'm going to say something, this is a little bit off topic, that I agree with that Ben Shapiro has said. And a lot of people are buying into this trap. Oh, they're going after Trump so hard, they're going to assure him the election. You don't think the media and Joe Biden know what they're doing? Well, Joe Biden probably doesn't know what he's doing. Joe Biden doesn't know that he's alive. Like, Joe Biden isn't aware of his surroundings, but his handlers know what they're doing. They want Trump to get the Republican nomination, and he is going to get the Republican nomination. All of this stuff they're throwing at him is just making him more popular with his base. But it is alienating him from the swing voters that he needs to win an election. So they want to have nominated the candidate out of the Republican field. they think they can easily beat. And whether Trump supporters want to hear this or not, whether Trump wants to hear it or not, he is eminently beatable in a general election. He will absolutely steamroll over, if it were tomorrow, the Republican nomination, and he will get slaughtered in the general, even if it's against senile, barely breathing, absolutely corrupt Joe Biden. The media know exactly what they are doing.
Yeah, and so, you know, I was talking about Trump in 2020, and I've had these libertarians be like, but are you really going to vote for the lesser of two evils? And I'm like, I don't think Trump's evil. I give him a net positive score. I mean, the foreign policy was tremendous.
That's because the libertarians' perspective, like they're expecting you to see things like a libertarian.
Exactly, exactly.
Well,
like I think the
it's because it's the archaic view of the two.
Up in here, well, derp, everybody who talks to you, maybe we shouldn't be this way as very highly evolved monkeys, but we do expect other people to see things our way. But I also do agree with them. They didn't use these words, but I think that whole voting for the lesser of two evils comment is very overplayed. I don't think it resonates very well with most voters. Now, some it does. I just think we throw it out there too often, just like we throw out that everybody's a libertarian who doesn't know it yet, which I just think is completely arrogant. I actually like the "are you going to vote for the lesser of two evils" arguments better than that one. But you are assuming that the person you're talking to is holding their nose when they vote. But as they're going to go on to say, they don't think Trump is evil. So before you use that line, "are you going to vote for the lesser of two evils?" make sure that the person you're talking to doesn't actually like one of the candidates, because then your comment made no sense and you just sound like a Looney Tunes. And if you're talking to somebody who's like, you know what, I don't like either of them, but I dislike this one less, then that line can hold weight. But for some people, also calling people evil can be a really big turnoff. So I think you've got to be really, really careful with that line. So I think there is a point buried in what they're saying here, and he's going to continue to prove what I was just saying.
Parties, but Trump was an insurgent who came in with a different perspective.
Well, also, and dude, when people say that to me, it's like, so I should vote for the lesser of three evils and pick your candidate? Right. I don't like the libertarian either.
Yeah.
We're going to stop there. So yeah, he's got a point. If they don't like the libertarian candidate either, that is what you're saying then. But he's missing a point. Say you don't like all three. Well, then saying the lesser of three evils, if they like the libertarian candidate better than the other two, would make sense. But you really can't just throw that out there. We throw that out there as libertarians far, far too much. And this gentleman does not think Trump is evil. And I kind of hit stop and cut Tim off in a midpoint where he was kind of conceding that point is usually true, which I don't always agree with, that most people think that's usually true. But he's like, no, but Trump is different. Trump was this insurgent candidate. If you look back in political history, he really is not that different. And when you saw how he governed, he really wasn't that different. He was just a bit uncouth. He was different in that way, that he was the troll in chief. That was different. And that was entertaining. That doesn't mean something you necessarily want in a president, but it was entertaining. And by the way, I wanted to show you guys something. I am rocking the old school LP shirt here. I like this logo way better than the chicken on a stick. Don't care what people say, but I want to show you this old school windbreaker I have. I think this is from the 90s. I found this on Etsy. It's a little too big for me, but I bought it anyway, and I love it. I wear this a lot of different places. Let me see if I can find where the logo is on it. Yes, I got this old blue, because our colors used to be more blue. As you can tell on here, there's blue and yellow. We didn't do the gray and yellow or the black and yellow. We used to do blue and yellow. But so, and you can see the old logo on there too. And this is even an older logo than the one that's on my shirt. This is like the Harry Brown era logo. This one is a little bit different, as you can see. Has a different face on it. But anyway, thought you might want to see some of those, some of that gear. I just want to take a quick look at the comments to see. Yeah, Trump. Oh no, Trump is going to he's going to get the Republican nomination. I firmly believe it. Nathan asked why we don't have the party animal on more stuff, because we only recently adopted it. It had been very unofficial before that. And guess who made the motion to officially adopt the porcupine? Yours truly did. And that was that last term or the term before? Okay, let's continue with the commentary.
Sometimes I will.
I like the Libertarian Party. I like the Mises Caucus. Where is their announcement? Come on, guys. What's going on?
Where we're going to stop, because this is where Tim is showing ignorance. What do you mean, their announcement? You mean the Mises Caucus's announcement? Now, that could make some sense, like announcement as to who they're going to endorse. Well, here's Tim's problem. And part of the problem is that he is judging third-party politics and expecting them to run the same way that duopoly politics do. He's going to go on to compare what the Republicans and Democrats are doing and asking why the Libertarians aren't doing that. And that is just not the way third-party politics work. And that's okay. I didn't understand a lot of this when I came into the party too. But he's an alt-media broadcaster. He needs to understand alt parties. He needs to understand third parties. He's had Angela on. He's had plenty of libertarians on that he should know these things. But his question was ambiguous, so I'm going to answer both of them. Where is the Mises Caucus endorsement? It's early for that. I know you don't think so because you're used to duopoly parties, but I bet you none of the people on the show could name who the Republican Liberty Caucus is endorsing. So he's mentioning the Mises Caucus because he likes them. But to ask where a caucus endorsement is just bizarre. So I don't think that's what he meant. I don't think he meant where is the announcement from the Mises Caucus. I think he just threw that out there to say that he likes the Mises Caucus, and that's great. I'm really glad that you like the Mises Caucus. I'm a Mises Caucus person. I appreciate that you like us. I think his question was more, where is the Libertarian Party's announcement? That is a meaningless comment. It is an ignorant comment. Where is the Republican Party's announcement? There isn't one, because they haven't had their primary yet. The Republican Party isn't saying who their candidate is, and neither is the Democratic Party. So asking where's the Libertarian Party's announcement is completely nonsensical. It doesn't even make sense in the context of the duopoly. It's because he's making a category confusion, and he's going to go to make that clear as we continue.
Who's running? The Democrats and the Republicans are in full swing. The Libertarians got to get going.
I don't know if they're going to.
I like the Libertarian Party, but come on.
I don't know.
Okay, we're going to stop right there. We have plenty of people running. A moment's research, even on Wikipedia, which is terrible. Well, because Wikipedia doesn't list all the candidates, but it lists the top 4. And it would have educated you in about a paragraph as to how the Libertarian Party nomination works. There are 4 top runners right now, and these people have been traveling the country and have been on shows. Tim, please have them on your show. But to ask where they are is, you didn't do any research at all for this. Maybe this was an off-the-cuff conversation. Shows like this happen, and you just happen not to know something. It's not the end of the world that you don't happen to know something. But you're saying this so authoritatively and almost dismissively of us, which, is not fair. I guess that's where it got me. It's not fair. We have 2 candidates that have gone to almost every convention and event that there has been, and that's Chase Oliver and Mike Termott. But we also have Lars Mapstad and we have Jacob Hornberger. Joshua Smith just announced. There's also about 20 other people that filed FEC filings, but they're not doing anything serious. So to say, where are they? It's like, dude, where have you been? If you're a political commentator and you say you like the Libertarian Party, and I believe you do, I'm not trying to say you don't. Obviously you do. You've had Angela on several times. And again, we're very grateful for that. But there are candidates. If you go, yeah, but I haven't heard of them without trying, that's because we get blacked out by the major media. So we need guys like you to be educated on these things. They are out there. They have plenty of statements. They've done debates that are on YouTube that just a 2-second search would have found. Really, one Google search would have answered this question and given you so many answers. And it's just really disappointing to me that you kind of misled your audience on this point. So let's continue, because I'm sorry, I'm not good with names in the Libertarian Party, okay? I'm not going to be good with names on other shows. I'm terrible with names. You all know that. So his co-host is going to say something really, okay, it borders on dumb. What Tim just said is ignorant. The next thing is just really does not understand anything about third-party politics. So I'll call it ignorant. But wait till you hear what his co-host says, because not only does it betray that they have no idea that there are people running seriously, and in fact, okay, I'm not saying Spike's running. All I know is he's holding a press conference for something. Tomorrow? Is it? I think it's tomorrow. Now, please, I have no inside information. I don't know if he's announcing. It's probably for You Are the Power, but this is going to become relevant in a few minutes. Everyone knows that I adore Spike, and I hope he enters the race. But let's see. These next comments, they get really cringe. Warning.
They're going to have a candidate. Honestly.
Why do you think?
Because because no one's announced. There was talk about
Dave Smith.
Well, yeah, exactly. There was talk.
Thank you. Thank you. I was unmuted. Let me start again. Thank you. I was getting really good at that for a while. So I hate the way my video program sometimes like jumps ahead a little bit. What this gentleman said is he doesn't think that the Libertarian Party is going to have a candidate. That is like, that's beyond ignorant. He says he doesn't think we're going to have a candidate because no one has announced. Now, of course, 4 people have announced. But let's pretend, which he didn't know. So he's going from ignorance to ignorance. But let's say that no one had announced. What would make you think, if no one has announced by the beginning of August, that we would have no candidate? How does that even follow? The election is more than a year away. Do you know anything about third parties? Who's the Constitution Party's candidate? Do you know? I mean, I happen to know of Cornel West from, I think, is he People's Party or Green Party? I think they're both endorsing him, but just because he's a really big name. But this is not uncommon for third parties. And in fact, if you were knowledgeable about FEC regulations and just how there is donor fatigue with the way fundraising goes for third parties, it is not advantageous to announce early when you're running for a third party nomination. Now, I understand most normies don't know this, but they are alt media. I do expect them to know some of the nuances of the more obscure topics that they cover. But in fact, we do have 4 candidates running. But what would make him think we would run no candidate? Have we ever done that? In 50 years of the party, have we ever done that? Does he have any idea what's the average announce time of the person who ends up being our candidate? So, when did Joe Jorgensen announce? When did Gary Johnson announce for both 2016 and 2012? Does he have any of that data? To make such a, I'm sorry, that was a dumb statement. I don't think they're going to have a candidate. Because there's also, with this betrays an ignorance of, we have to. In order to be a national political party and maintain that status, you have to run a candidate. You're doing that for your very existence. And multiple of our states, ballot access depends upon vote percentages of a presidential candidate. Sometimes it's a president candidate or a different statewide race, but too much rides on it. The thought of us not running a candidate, the chance of that is 0. Yet this guy's like, I just don't think they're going to run a candidate. Where did you pull that out of your ass? Was that an ass fact? I mean, I pull out ass facts before, and I'm not trying to be too hard on this guy, but that was a real stinkeroo of a comment. And Nathan, I do think you're correct that Joe announced in November. When did Gary Johnson announce? For 2016. And he was a big name because they're going to start talking about big names. He didn't announce till January. The bigger names do not announce until the year of our convention. So to be getting all lathered up that there isn't some big name announcement in August is just super, super ignorant of how third parties, particularly the Libertarian Party, works. Lesser name candidates do start campaigning early in order to build up a name. I was somewhat surprised that Jacob Hornberger, who's pretty well known, at least within the Libertarian Party, announced early, but he hasn't been traveling to conventions. I don't expect Jacob to start traveling to conventions until next year. That's just how it works. Okay, let's continue.
About Dave, but I don't think that Dave's gonna do it. This is just a vibe. I have no inside information or anything. But if he was gonna announce, I feel like he would have announced already.
Yeah, I agree.
So
and you know, it wouldn't be this coy if wishy-washy maybe stuff.
Yeah.
It would be like we're in full swing. We'd at the very least be seeing him do more.
Yep.
Because right before everybody announces, they start ramping things up. You can see the gears in motion, and we're like, oh, it looks like they're going to announce. Like even Ron DeSantis, they were like next.
We're going to stop here for a second. That's why I mentioned that Spike is having a press conference tomorrow. Now, again, do I think it's for a presidential announcement? No. But if he's starting to talk about ramping things up, perhaps that could be a sign of it. And it wouldn't be unreasonable for them to be looking at Spike since he was the vice presidential candidate next time. But he starts to then compare to DeSantis. I drank my my alcohol a little too fast. Dave did not announce, Nathan. I don't know what you're talking about. I see you winky, so that has to be what it is. But, you know, I get it that they think if a big name like Dave was going to announce, particularly Dave, just because of who Dave is, he would do it early. But typically, big names do not announce until the year of convention. That's just the way it is. Because some of it is, and I don't mean this, this is going to sound disparaging, but I don't mean it that way. It's just my figures of speech. We get sloppy seconds a lot. We get people who are originally running for a Republican or Democrat nomination, and they figure out they're not going to get it, and they try to switch to us. That has happened so many times over our history. And they don't start to figure out they don't have a chance, and they want to avoid sore loser laws and things like that, that it happens in the year of our convention. I'm not so sure that they don't realize how our nomination process works. So for anyone watching, or anyone who might pass this along, not that I flatter myself enough to think that Tim would ever watch this, is some states have non-binding primaries. It's very few that have libertarian primaries. I think it's under 5, but they're non-binding. Our quote-unquote primary, which is the way Wikipedia words it, and I don't like it wording that way because it's not a primary. It's a nominating convention. It's a nomination by convention. Isn't until May of 2024. That's when we'll know who our candidate is. But you'll start seeing a lot more activity January 2024 because it starts a new FEC year as well. And that is very important to the whole scheme of things. Okay, let's continue. We're almost done with the clip.
I think it's going to happen. Then rumors circulated, then sources say, and then finally he announced. We've got nothing from the Libertarians so far.
But that's not true. It isn't you've got nothing. Again, a tiny Google search would have shown you this. You're just wrong and ignorant. So that's really all I wanted to say, and I hope it was said in love because, again, this isn't like when I talk about Ben Shapiro or Matt Welsh or whatever. I liked him. I think he's doing a great thing for bringing out alternative points of view. Don't always agree with him, but this is, the type of media that is the media of the future. But he was talking about my party, and he was talking about things that I know about and saying things wrong. So I wanted to correct it, and I did want to do a show tonight. So where are we at? 35 minutes. That is short for me. So I'm going to give it a couple minutes and see if there are any questions. Again, you definitely will not be hearing from me Friday or Saturday. You may hear from me Sunday, depending on how I feel coming back from the plane flight. That always wears me out, and a camping weekend will wear me out as well. So before we go, I'd like to just remind you one last time, I really would appreciate your support on Patreon, on patreon.com/Pink Flame of Liberty. It helps me continue to do all of this, and the next show will probably be a history show. Send me suggestions. You can stick it in my Discord as well, but please put timestamps of things that you might want me to cover. Okay. Oh yes, thank you, Nathan. Check in at Southwest the minute I get off this show, so I don't end up in the cargo hold. I hope you all have an awesome night. Bye-bye.
Given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in a business, not because they want to